when we were approached by that consortium of C-CASCADES comprised of scientists as well as private partners, we were convinced by that composition, and since we are connected to scientists in the oceanographic as well as in the limnic sector, this was a very tempting approach, and we were pleased to join because we wanted to see our instruments in action at exactly this boundary from the marine into the limnic sector. And this is where the sensors are now applied and tested extensively. We contribute to the project in several ways. One is the general aspect. We contribute to the training workshops. There was one contribution to the training workshop on greenhouse gas measurements, where we presented on the measuring principles as well as the application for CH4 and CO2 measurements. And there will be also a contribution of ours to the training workshop on entrepreneurial skills, where we will tell more about motivation, inspiration, also about the potential professional future of the students. And this is also an aspect that we would like to stress and that we are very happy to be able to present it. And this is telling our story from the technical startup to become part of an international company. And primarily we deal with ESR1, which is ANA. And ANA applies sensors of ours in various environments, and we are just happy to see the sensors performing in that environment and learn about what scientific value they can generate.
So I am working with sensors for dissolved gases. I'm looking at oxygen, methane and CO2. And I also have some physical parameters that I'm also measuring. It's in a continuous flow-through system, so it's measuring from the same water. So what I did was I created a flow-through system, so then the water gets pumped up from the surface waters, and then it gets split into all of my sensors, so they're all running on the same water. And I'm looking from the land to the ocean waters, so I'm looking at the interface. That is my main area. I originally started working in the labs. From then I got to test it on the Littorina to see if they all ran together nicely. So before I had the whole setup. So I just strapped them all together to see what would happen, and they all worked. Okay, so we did 3-day cruises on that. I then went on to an intercalibration cruise called SCORE, and that was my first test run to see how it worked, pretty much. And it all seemed to run well. Everything, there was no leaks, everything logged correctly. From there I went on to my big test, which was across the Atlantic from Cape Town to the Falkland Islands. And then this year I've been 3 times to Romania in collaboration with Formosa Convent with ETH. And I ran it there on a small boat compared to all the others. It was a small little houseboat. So what I am trying to find, or what I'm trying to succeed to do, is have a system that has 3 measurements of coupled gases. So it's running from the same stream of water to measure CH4, CO2 and O2. So I have higher resolution and coverage, which is very good for modelling in the carbonate system. So from this they can use my data potentially, and they have a more accurate data set to use. What we saw was great variability from all different areas. So we had the open ocean, limnic and brackish. But what we did use is the same system for all of this. So then we have comparable data for every single system instead of using different techniques or taking discrete samples in different ways.